Mr. Lick, can you just remind me, did your predecessor, Gary Walburn, actually propose legislation, enabling legislation to make the Office of the Ombudsman independent and as a Office of Parliament?
Yes, in the document that we'll table with the committee, yes, it does have draft legislation in there for the independence of the office through legislation. Okay,
and that would then, if you're looking at making sure that you are truly independent, and when we look at a historical case here, and going on Mr. Collins' line of lack of leadership, we know that with the sexual misconduct case against former Chief of Defence Staff John Vance, that documents provided your predecessor was given to the Minister of National Defence at the time, Minister Sagen, who refused to handle that documentation. As an independent office, how would that situation have been handled?
Well, I'd say it would be difficult to understand how it would be handled without having all the details in it. If it was a criminal matter, we would still be prevented from, we would make sure it gets to the right place to be able to deal with that, whether that's with the military police or whatever. With that particular instance, while I don't have all the details, obviously, I think it's a matter we can put in legislation how would I escalate it? Would I escalate it to the Prime Minister? Beyond the minister, if I'm not getting action on it, would I escalate it to this committee? There's a variety of ways that we could do it for the different situations that we might encounter. My point is that it should be escalated to someone who can take action on it that is apolitical or not political.
But at least you'd be able to get action on it.
Yes.
And you wouldn't have the cover-up that we witnessed under the previous Minister of Defence. I appreciate that. Now, when we start looking at your budget, and you're saying there's cuts coming, those are a unilateral decision that's being made by the Minister of National Defence that you don't even have any input in saying this is what our budget is, this is what our needs are. They're just going to give you the budget and you have to make do with what you get?
Yeah, certainly they've proposed cuts on our organization. We do have the ability through the business planning process to say what the impact would be and type of thing. But generally those cuts, the decision on those cuts at the very end is not mine. The decision is the department's.
So you're saying it's going to impact on your travel, being able to go across the bases, meet with members of National Defence, members of the Canadian Armed Forces, and you also said contracts. The contracts you're talking about would be having those types of specialized inspectors or investigators?
It could be, yes, if it's a contract for professional, generally a contract for professional services. So that could be hiring, as we have done, a team or an organization that would help with research, as we do right now. It could be something as simple as IT support. It could be a variety of things. It doesn't really matter. One of the things that we will likely have problems going forward is our IT system, and we don't have the experience in house to be able to do that.
So you're done July 2nd. Do you know whether or not there's been anyone appointed or somebody is in the works of being vetted to replace you as ombudsman?
No, we do not.
And we have a similar problem over at MGIRC that you don't have a permanent chair or a vice chair at this time, and no indication that anyone is being appointed to fill in?
Vice chair was appointed last week. We got notice of the OIC last week. With a start date in April. With respect to a permanent chair, we understand that it's in the works, could expect something very soon, but I do not have a date for that.
So foot dragging on appointments are impacting upon the ability to get work done, and who knows what's going to happen going forward on the Ombudsman's office if they don't extend your contract. So let's talk about the CDS referring cases over to the Military Grievance Committee. Does the CDS just cherry pick these, or is it escalated by some other means?
So for the mandatory grievances, no choice in the matter. If it fits into a subject category, mandatorily comes over to us. For discretionary files, we have no visibility on the criteria that are being used. Up until very recently, we received almost all discretionary files, but as of last year, the number of discretionary files we receive has gone down significantly.
Okay. You say it takes 16 months to do one of your reviews and to report back to the CDS. ATIP takes, by law, is 45 days. If ATIPs were actually handled in a transparent manner and getting back from the Department of National Defence Canadian Forces to the members or to those that are asking this, for this information, whether it's privacy or just extra information, would there be as big a backlog facing your committee in dealing with those grievances?
So So the ATIP does not affect us at all. We come outside of it, but if a time limit was put in place, absolutely it would have an impact for getting back the information. Absolutely would have an impact.
Thank you, Mr. Bazan.